Hey everyone, welcome to Commentary Central. This is Jared and my cohort.
Andrew.
And today we're going to be watching Ratatouille, which in my opinion is a very underrated Pixar film. So anything you want to say before we get started, Andrew?
No, I'm good.
Alright, let's jump right in.
Alright, so I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
And here's the Disney logo. And there goes the Flash, Walt Disney Pictures, and Star. Okay, cool.
And
there's Pixar.
Pixar. So
you gotta love the Pixar logo.
Sure. I never thought about it before.
I like it. It's just fun and inventive, you know?
I mean, that's technically their first animated thing, wasn't it? The lamp and the ball.
I think so.
Yeah, whatever it was called, I can't remember. Best food in France is made in Paris.
I might be able to agree with that, but I don't agree the best food in the world is made in France.
I thought it was Italy.
I don't know. I like America because you get a little bit of everything. Because, like, yeah, you get a little bit of everything. By the way, if you're not hungry going into this movie, you will be coming out of it.
Antonio, voiced by Peter O'Toole.
Was that Peter O'Toole?
Mm-hmm.
A man who's in a ton of really great movies but never won an Oscar. I think he got a Lifetime Achievement Award, but he never actually won an Oscar. Which is criminal because of Lawrence of Arabia and all that.
I wonder who won that year. I've never paid attention. So they're technically already in France. Right?
Yeah, I believe this is the French countryside.
Okay, just making sure.
Like, I don't have a problem with this opening, but I feel like they should have just kind of went into it instead of the whole "this is me" type thing.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like these kind of openings. This is me.
Like right here, you could have just started with that line, "What's my problem?" and then or rewrite it a little. But I wish it would have started right there. That kind of zoom in on the house, and then just started with a voiceover. Because I think just the whole flashing forward to flash back is just maybe a little much. But that's honestly about my only complaint with this movie.
What? We're only in the first 30 seconds.
Seriously, that I love this movie.
Now, I know we've all talked about this. Is this your favorite Pixar film?
I think it is. It switches places with The Incredibles for me. Toy Story 3 is also up there, probably number 3 on my list. But yeah, I love this movie so much because it's just so different. I can't think of another movie like it. Yeah, there are food movies, but movies where it's like somebody, going from rags to riches, so to speak, but also dealing with food and weaving other stories into it. It just works.
Okay. I mean, I like it. It's not my favorite Pixar film, but I don't know. I was reading some trivia earlier. It said there was this one chef who said it was like the most accurate food movie that's ever been produced.
And it could have been, because I've heard that as well, that there's a lot of nuances in this movie that unless you really love food, you're just not going to get. That's also a reason why I think people don't like Cars, because they kind of don't get some of the stuff in it, but we can talk about that later.
Sure, why not? I mean, like I said, I read some stuff, they kept rats down in lining the hallways at Pixar studio, and supposedly Brad Bird interned at this French restaurant, and they had a lot of chefs, give them to come in and tell them what they're doing right and wrong. I mean, it does take 3-4 years to make a Pixar film, and
at least, if not 4 or 5 years.
For the most part, they put a lot of hard work into it.
And it pays off in huge dividends.
Yeah, they've only, in my opinion, only had a few misses, but
Yeah, I believe this is Brad Garrett doing the voice of Gusteau.
It is. Yep.
If you don't know who that is, that's the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. And I love this little way of explaining how food tastes and visualizing that. I just think that's great. And you add the music in, it works.
See, I like this movie, I have affinity for this movie sort of because I used to want to be a chef back in my teenage years. I had it all planned out, like as where I was going to go to culinary school and everything like that. So, this movie always has a little something, a little piece of me, but once again, it's not my favorite one.
There was a time in my life when I wanted to be a chef too, but I couldn't take the heat, so I got out of the kitchen. That is true, though. There was one time when I actually thought about that, but it didn't last long, but it was just a little moment in my life.
So that's a mushroom.
Right.
A paper sack. Good eating right there.
One thing that I think can't be understated, though, is Patton Oswalt as Remy in this movie. Because, I don't think there's a missed line. I don't know if they wrote this character for him or if they wrote the character and he just fit it so perfectly, but it just works,
Yeah, I heard that Brad Bird heard Patton Oswalt, ripping some sort of restaurant, and he's like, that's the dude I wanted to play this rat who can cook. So,
and, that makes sense. Patton Oswalt, in my opinion, isn't utilized enough. And I just think that just his general voice quality has a very unique voice, and it really just adds something to this movie, especially the character of Remy. It just makes him more relatable, in a sense. Because it sounds like he would be a friend you know what I'm saying, if he wasn't a rat. If you just notice the little things, like whenever they got struck by lightning there, just watching the way the smoke wafts up in the air, and Pixar's very good at handling the little elements.
I agree with that.
Also, just look at their fur. I know this movie came out in 2007, I believe, and for then, the animation's fantastic.
No, yeah. Kind of doesn't look too good right now, but when, it's normal, you can see each hair moves.
And it's just amazing how technology, especially in the movie industry, leaps forward, because you can watch it, when you watch the first Shrek movie, for example, the animation is kind of stilted, but when you realize it was made in 2001, it looks good for that time. And you look at that compared to the last Shrek movie that came out, and how far animation has actually come.
Oh yeah,
especially in facial details and just looking at the character models themselves.
Well, I mean, that goes back to, the first ever Toy Story was, 91 or whatever?
95.
Whatever. Close enough. Then, whenever the third one came out, it was...
Yeah, I mean...
It's amazing.
The detail 15 there was years. Now. Yeah. I haven't seen Toy Story 3 in a while, so I'd have to check. But when you watch the Lego movies, you can see the imperfections in the character models, and they intentionally do that to give it a little more life.
Oh yeah.
Anyone can cook. That is true. Anyone can cook, but not everyone should cook.
I mean,
I believe there's at least one thing out there for everyone, in the sense that even if you're a terrible, terrible cook, there's at least one dish out there you can make fairly well.
Well, I get in. To me, there's not really such a thing as cooking anymore, because it's all in a box. You just add water. So
that's true. If you want real cooking, you gotta go to and I don't use this term in a derogatory way, but you gotta go to the old timers, you know. You gotta find the people that still make their stuff by hand. And by the way, this movie kind of vilifies this little old woman. But, like, when you think about it, she's really just, like, trying to get the infestation out of her house. Even if she's a little bit too trigger happy. And, you know, it's not really clear in this movie until it happens in just a second. But, right here. Where, it's here in a second, but right when the chandelier falls, and you see, like, all the rats up there, you realize, oh, the rats are actually in the attic of the house.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not really clear until that happens.
Yeah, that's a nice little thing right there.
And by the way, like, not to get into the political realm, but, like, can you own a shotgun in France?
I don't know.
Because, like...
That's a great question.
I love this moment right here. Just this little lady's face. Like, just the realization, oh crap.
It'd be kind of terrifying, actually.
What are you looking up on your phone?
I want to know who beat what.
Oh,
Peter O'Toole.
Come on, man.
It's eating at me now. What year was what year?
I believe it was 64 or 68, somewhere in the 60s.
Can't remember how long. What was Lawrence?
And also, here's the thing: Remy just jumped through that window, which was the freeze frame from earlier. I wish they would have stopped it 1 second to hold that freeze frame and then go on. I just felt like it would have added a little more of that continuity. And I love how the rats just had boats prepared because they're ready to bug out.
You know, I think the dad rat's name is Django.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure.
Jamie Foxx ain't gonna be happy about that.
I was surprised. I don't know if that's just a French name or what.
Not sure. Don't you love how this book is pretty much getting absolutely soaked, but yet it's perfectly readable later?
It's not an impossibility.
No. Yes, let's chase the rats out of my house and continue to fire wildly at them. By the way, that'd be the worst paddle ever.
Yeah, that's true. What?
We have the subtitles on. Just a second ago, it said rats screaming. Also, just his fur when he gets wet and the glisten off of it. It's just really good animation. I also love the character designs too. That's a whole other thing. Just, the style of this film, the character models themselves. It's very Pixar-ish, but it's also very stylistic.
I read somewhere where it was Brad Bird actually, when he came on as director, he brought the design back to more rat-like. So my question is, what did they look like before?
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe more Mickey Mouse style, just without the gloves or pants.
Possibly. Well, yeah, that might be it.
You know, you have this voiceover narration, not to get too spoilerish, but I would say if you're watching this commentary, you've seen this movie before. But it's not until like the end of the movie you realize he's actually kind of relating his story to everyone, and that's how it gets there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sort of a way around narration.
I love this. With the, just how the picture moves. I love that style of animation. Just the look of it and how it moves off the page.
Yeah, no, I do. It's like old school animation, but it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. So did you ever figure out who won that Oscar?
1962. It was Gregory Peck.
For?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
Right.
We'll let the viewer decide whether that was warranted or not.
Then he was nominated again in 1964.
He's been nominated many times, Peter O'Toole has, but he's never won.
He was beat by Rex Harrison from the movie My Fair Lady, which you haven't seen, but I have. It's a musical.
By the way, this is one of my favorite parts of this movie, where he's going through the apartments.
Okay. Most importantly, I now know it was Gregory Peck who,
beat him out.
If you're gonna lose to somebody, I guess
that's a good choice. To Kill a Mockingbird, which is often seen as the best book to movie adaptation. Lord of the Rings is better. Okay, but anyway, but I love the little Gusto that just follows him.
That's in his mind.
I know.
He's slowly slipping into insanity.
Well, the dude is hungry and thirsty and separated from his family and friends.
It's his fault.
And if you notice, the little fibers on that piece of bread. And as we find out, the best bread, it sounds good. It crackles. Painting, which is obviously very French. This is my favorite. I am actually shocked they got away with that in a Pixar film.
Well, I never technically see the bullet fire. So.
And then coming up, you have the dog, from Up. That's Doug. His shadow, anyway.
Exactly. Mousetraps never work.
Apparently cheese isn't good for mice or rats. I do love this view right here, though. And I've never been to Paris. I don't know anyone who lives there or anything. But I wonder if it's actually like that, where there's not really a lot of tall buildings. It's just, you have the Eiffel Tower that's just over everything.
Let's say yes.
I'm sure there's some. Think about it. I'm sure there's some tall cathedrals there or something.
$3.
Man, that food looks so good. And it's not even real.
3 stars. I don't know. How low? You know how they do health inspections at restaurants?
Yeah.
How low
would I ever eat at a restaurant? Obviously it's not a very good indicator if it gets below a 90. But depends on just if I was super hungry and it was the only restaurant around, would I risk it? I'm gonna say 84%. I think if you get any lower than an 85, I don't think I'm gonna eat there, because I have a feeling that honestly anything below an 85 you probably wouldn't be allowed to stay open.
I mean,
that's my. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that actually works. I mean, I don't know if I've ever ate at a restaurant below a 97 or a 95, but
I know I used to work at a restaurant and we got a 93 once, and the managers got really ticked at us, so they brought the health inspector back and we got a 95.
Okay, I mean, I guess it also depends on the restaurant. There's not many anymore, but there used to be these mom and pop type restaurants.
Yeah. Some
of them would be in the 80s, but those don't terrify me as much because
I don't know. Yeah, if it's more of a local mom and pop type thing, I guess I'd be a little more okay with it. But,
But yeah, no, anything. I'd probably agree. 85, anything lower than that, I'll probably pass.
Yeah.
So this is a 3-star restaurant out of 5, so that's...
It's not rated in health inspection.
Well, yeah,
it's rated in quality. Which, I mean, I don't know what would, like, just where we live, there's not a lot of, like, upscale restaurants. So, it's one of those things that I don't know what would constitute a 3-star restaurant. Because, like, when you look at the quality of that place and what they're giving you portion-wise, you know that's at least, like, a $50 a plate place.
Well, the only reason it's 3 stars though is because Egos has a grudge against him.
That and and Gusteau died, so they automatically take a star off. But, like, you know, I don't know.
But, I mean, really, it's a 4-star restaurant.
Yeah.
But because Ego's the best critic in the world, yes.
He has quite an ego.
Exactly. Hey, that just made sense.
I love this. He just grabs it and throws it back out there.
Ego. It makes sense now.
Do you really not get that?
Nope. Once again, you have made this the greatest movie of all time. This is my 3rd greatest film of all time I've seen.
And just this whole adventure he's about to go on right here, I adore it.
I don't know, to me it's a little overdone, but that's just me.
There it is. I am a figment of your imagination. I have a feeling they had him fall in the water first just to prove he was sanitary for the rest of this when he actually did begin cooking. Because that is soapy water, hot soapy water. So, it's probably...
You could be right.
You may have read this, but if I'm not mistaken, like they were, I guess, going to have like some actual food companies mentioned here, but no one was really in a hurry to be associated with a movie about a rat in a kitchen.
Yeah, I heard that. They had a hard time finding yeah. Yeah, I read that.
Another great thing Pixar does is just well, I'll point out when we get there, but yeah, I love the sequence because you go everywhere and it familiarizes you with this kitchen because you're going to be spending a lot of time in it.
That's true.
One filet mignon. I want to try that one day because you just hear so much about it. Even if it is like $50, I just want to try it once. That looks really good, by the way. I love carrots and red onions. And that is probably a turkey.
Possibly.
Can you imagine if he hadn't got out of there? Okay, here's what I love. Is that you're going to go from all this crazy madness, the music's up, and then just gets quiet. Goes out. Just it's a great visual and audio cue. By the way, what a great name, Linguini.
Oh yeah.
I think we've all tasted at least one dish where it made us want to do that. And just right here, it's just his compulsion. He can't help it but to try and make it better, you know? He's like, oh yeah. And you know one thing, even though it's very simply animated, like his eyes, like they really got down like the animal eyes in the sense where you can relate to them, but I don't know how to explain it, but just a second ago, like where I have a dog, like just the look in his eyes, I've seen that look in my dog's eyes before when he gets intrigued by something, so it's just interesting. And there he is washing his hands.
Stuck.
Hope those are little bits of cheese. I adore cheese. In fact, I'm probably going to get some queso dip later with some Mexican food. That looks like it'd be a really good soup. And cut. But that he has to like grab his shirt and climb up just to get to it.
I mean, he was just holding the spoon. It doesn't mean he was cooking. We didn't physically see him do anything.
That's true.
Whatever the ship's name is, what is it? Skinner?
Yeah.
Voiced by Ian Holm.
Is that Ian Holm?
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew that, but I forgot.
Yep.
Old Bilbo Baggins himself.
Oh, yeah. And the dude from the first Alien movie.
And he's also in Chariots of Fire.
That's true.
Trust me, as a guy who's I haven't worked in a restaurant like this, but there is a disconnect from when you go from the kitchen to the area where customers are being served and you're actually face to face with them. And like whenever you suddenly go from the kitchen to that area, it is like a shift in how you feel. You know, I'm totally fine. This is a one-off movie, but I almost wouldn't mind to see a sequel to it.
I don't know where you would go, though.
Yeah, that's the only problem. It's just I love these characters so much that I think it would be a lot of fun. But like you said, the only thing I can think of is maybe their restaurant is closing down. They find a way to save it.
But that's kind of what this one is.
Yeah.
Your only option would this chef guy, he'd come back with a vengeance, but
yeah,
it's best not to.
I agree.
Pixar, Pixar said they're not going to make any more sequels after their next 5 sequels, so, yeah.
We'll see. I don't think that rule's going to stand for very long, especially if they get a monster hit.
Well, yeah, and I would,
it might stand for about 5 or 6 years, but then they'll hit something that's got real franchise potential.
Well, it's one of those things like, right off the top of my head, I would say, I don't like any of the Pixar sequels, but then I forget about Toy Story 2 and 3, which are
They sequels. Are the exception.
But, anything else I have not liked. That's just me.
Monsters University was okay, and so was Finding Dory. To me, they were okay, but they're not what you expect from Pixar.
See, me personally, the past few Pixar films to me have actually, in my opinion, have pandered to a much younger audience.
See, I can agree, because I feel like a movie like this, kids can watch it and enjoy it, but this is really aimed at adults in a lot of ways. It has a lot of adult themes. It's just presented in a way to where kids can really enjoy it. Yeah. Whereas you take a movie like
Finding Dory is the most recent, I think.
Yeah, Finding Dory, it does have some adult themes in there about living with a disability and things like that, but overall it is pushed a little more towards kids.
To me, that was a straight up kids movie. I didn't like Finding Dory at all. That's just me.
Like I said, it was okay. It wasn't Finding Nemo. And if you expected it to really be Finding Nemo all over again, yes, it was the same basic premise, but the first Finding Nemo was, as with a lot of Pixar movies, kind of lightning in a jar. Just don't know if you could get that again.
It's the same issue with everything. Once they find a character everyone loves,
isn't this sad? He's getting ready to absolutely murder Remy here. I don't know why I didn't just let him go.
Exactly. I don't know why this was his whole plan along.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure Skinner did tell him to kill it, and he says he really needs this job, so it kind of makes sense, but Skinner would like never know if he let him go.
Exactly.
Unless he came back. But
exactly, and apparently he's
just take him to the other side of the city and let him go. He'll never come back. Yeah.
I mean, you could probably just let him go a couple blocks down the road. Be all right. But anyway, but talking about Finding Dory, same thing with like Cars 2, the whole movie based on Mater because everyone loved Mater. Even talking about Minions,
Well, that's not Pixar, but
well, I know, but Minions, the Minions were good in the whole Despicable Me, but as a standalone, terrible.
It's movie. A great side character, but it's not a great main course.
Even the Penguins of Madagascar, they're great in the Madagascar films, but their own film, nope.
Yeah.
So you know what? Stop it. Just stop it, everyone. Just make a great character in the movie. Don't give.
I'm okay with sequels, but don't like the problem that gets the issue that happens a lot in Hollywood. And it's not just like animated movies. It's like you said, you have characters that are fantastic side characters, but they're not someone who can carry an entire film.
Exactly. So, no Ratatouille 2.
No.
That's what we're saying.
And like I said, I'm okay with it because as it is, this is probably my favorite Pixar film. So. And I'm gone. I love how he just chuckles as he's running away, but then kind of his conscience catches up to him. Sorry for that sound. That was me cracking my knuckles. I think it was earlier in the film where was it? He said that his mom died, and Skinner was like, "Sorry to hear that." He's like, "Well, she believed in heaven, so I guess she's covered, right?"
Yeah, it was when he first was at the reference.
It's just. This kind of shows you his naivete in a way. I love how small his apartment is. It's fantastic. Just can't get his bike in there. Gosh, that would be
It's really all you need.
It is all you need, but it would not be fun to live there. Sad part is, in Paris, France, with the view he's got that's going to show, an apartment like that would be a stupid amount per month. Is that supposed to be a riff on Casablanca?
I think so.
He sleeps on his couch.
I mean, I know, Casablanca, stuff that dreams are made of, whatever, but...
That's Maltese Falcon.
Well, whatever, close enough. It's Bogarts. All his characters are technically the same. Which I have no problem with that whatsoever.
That's true.
I have no problem with that, because I love...
Kind of like Harrison Ford. All his characters are just different shades of each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love how he just freaks out right here. Then he turns and bam.
He's gonna use a fork to eat his egg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not use a fork to eat your eggs?
Did I say fork?
Yeah.
I meant key.
Oh. I mean, okay, I can understand.
Oh, he's using the back of it. Okay.
I feel bad for him because he's ready to eat and just bam.
So he still hasn't eaten for like maybe
days.
Yeah.
Leclerc. believe that's Incredibles underwear.
I don't know.
I think it was.
I haven't read my trivia that far down.
You ever done that? Walked into a place so confident and then it's just like, nope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Busy.
I'm also surprised they got away with that in a Pixar film.
Yeah.
I wonder how hard that was to animate right there. Like him underneath. What would you do if you saw someone doing that?
I don't know. See, at first I'm like, you wouldn't just stand there, but now when you think about it, what would you do?
It's like, alright, man.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to go near the person.
It's like, what kind of psychological issues are going on right now? Finally, you figured that out.
Caviar.
We really should have brought some cheese to eat during this. It's been delicious. Dude, I can make a meal out of cheese. I had a friend one time told me, and whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. I don't think he'd lie about it, but of course it was a long time ago. But I had a friend who I believe said his dad was in France for a while, staying with these people, and he and his friend were there, and they went to town on this people's like supply of cheese. I think they said that like at the end of it, they ate a 6-month supply of cheese. Because like supposedly they have just a little bit of cheese and like some wine after each meal in France. I guess they had eaten so much cheese they like wiped them out for 6 months.
See, I don't like cheese just by itself.
Really?
Yeah.
It depends on the cheese. Some cheese, like Swiss cheese by itself, not that great. You take like Colby Jack cheese and you eat that, dear goodness, that stuff's delicious.
Yeah, I don't like cheese by itself. It has to be on or in something. Marionettes.
By the way, this was very inventive, their way of controlling linguine. I think it was in the commentary one time. I think it was Brad Bird said that, was it him who directed this?
Oh, yeah.
Brad Bird said the way they kind of justified that was linguine was so kind of skittish and wiry and uptight, I suppose, that he could, you pull his hair and it would cause his body to move.
I mean, kind of makes sense. The only problem is, I'm pretty sure he's not completely inept. He can get stuff out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, well, he's got to be able to tell him what he needs, and the more he's in complete control, the better. Yeah. I actually love I keep getting ahead of myself here, but not bad, not bad. What was it? Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it.
Progress,
Come
I
on.
guess.
Better hope that wasn't expensive. Love this.
Yeah.
You can just see the many ways that could go wrong. Yeah, and the way it frames it, they were probably practicing this for like 12 hours straight.
True. Or at least all night.
Yeah. I think the character of Colette is just super interesting. Just starting right here. And I don't know who the voice actress is, but she works in just enough of an accent to make it to make her voice very interesting. Like first time you hear it, almost threatens, like if you're not used to that kind of accent, threatens to drown out what the words actually are and may cause you to miss them. But it's not overdone. It's just right. Obviously, that's a take on Chef Boyardee right there.
I mean, even Eco mentions that later on, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He says something about Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. Gusteau's toothpicking chicken. There's Colonel Sanders.
Start corn dogs.
Chopstick pockets. Barbecue dipping ribs. Buttery toes.
Is this man a French Indian or just Indian?
I don't know. Did that make him a Friendian?
Let's go with that. What do we see? Anything of significance here? Hey, there's a letter.
Yeah.
It just happens to be sent at the right time.
That's a high-nosed individual. He does have his father's nose.
There it is, less than a month. That's what I was waiting
It
on.
is a little convenient, I'm not gonna lie.
But my problem is, should have just left it alone. You know, if he wasn't so worried about it, he would have ended up in full ownership. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because it's only because he won't leave it alone that. I guess that's the point. He's the bad guy.
Is he really all that bad, though? I mean, we think about, yeah, he's kind of a jerk, but is anything he does actually straight up villainous? Because, like, all these, other than, honestly, like, it is wrong of him to, like, if it is true that Linguini is Gusto's son and he comes back and confirms it, then it is wrong of him to withhold that information until he gets ownership of that restaurant. That is wrong. But other than, like, say that, he's just trying to keep a rat, which is, a disease-ridden animal, out of a kitchen. And,
I mean,
he does kind of become jealous.
I don't know. Because he's using Gusto's likeness and image, but I guess that's fine. You know,
Gusto didn't really have an estate, so.
Yeah, so. You know what? He's not the bad guy. Ratatouille. It's the rat. He's the bad guy. Just sit right there.
Notice like the fiber in the hat, like you can see the individual threads. This is a good bread. Dude, I could totally just eat that entire loaf of bread right there. Just get a little bit of butter.
I know that part's true because I watched something the other day on either Food Network or Travel Channel where he was making sourdough bread. He's like, you hear that? You hear that crunch?
It's good bread.
So that's true. That's a true thing. I know that much.
I love these little stories about these people. Kill a man with this thumb.
That was a nice little shot right there.
It was where he's kind of staring back as the door closes.
And then the shadow is right across his eyes. Tiny, tiny man.
Yes, it is. Those must be some very well-off people to eat there, often enough to get tired of that soup.
You know, there's the most American people in this French.
All right.
French restaurant. They were all at least. They didn't have to be Americans, but they were. Well, yeah, they were Americans.
Give me a Swede, dang it.
I guess, but it's everyone else is French, right? Except the main character.
Well, Remy's technically French. He's just a rat.
That speaks American.
I'm not sure Patton Oswalt could do an accent. I'm not saying he couldn't. I've just never actually heard one.
Well, it don't matter. It's an awful lot of...
Did you get this, though? Because he's literally setting Linguini up for failure, but in doing so, he's delegitimizing the streak that his restaurant's on. If he wants to own the restaurant, like, this is the worst thing he could do. What he should do, like you said, is keep his mouth shut, let Linguini keep making great stuff, and then it makes him look good.
Exactly.
So, the only thing that's stopping him from doing that is just his, like, irrational jealousy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Geoduck. I know what that is.
Veal stomach? Sounds Scottish. Who is that guy?
I know, right? There's another one right there.
Probably just temporaries who help out.
There's 2 unknown characters. I mean, at least he's still there. That's
if you
nice.
notice, there's a little burn on his hand.
Yeah, I'm just glad, there at least, that one dude who we don't know who he is. At least he's still in the background.
Yeah.
Nice continuity. Because sometimes, licorice sauce.
I love this.
Licorice.
Don't you dare. I am. Sorry.
So really the only thing he changed was the sauce.
Yeah, which can make all the difference. Just look how small those portions were, though.
Mm-hmm.
But gosh. And like we were talking about before, that's like probably $50 for that.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm paying $50, man, it better at least be like a pretty huge portion, or at least 2 people going there in total.
Convenience just abounds, but I'm okay.
Apparently that's called a toad.
Yep.
By the way, isn't this like the first occurrence in like a Pixar movie or children's movie, except maybe Dumbo, where someone just gets drunk?
No, I mean, Disney movies have a lot of drunk scenes in them if you think about it. Robin Hood. I mean, I guess Winnie the Pooh technically he wasn't drunk, but that whole one scene.
Drunk with power. No, I'm just...
But yeah, Dumbo. There's actually quite a few if you go through them.
I love how he like sips out of the grape. It's fantastic.
And the plot thickens.
And that's a wicked looking knife.
Cheese knife. Cheese knives look amazing. Like, have you ever seen a cheese knife set?
No.
I've seen an actual real one that was in like a wood case. It's amazing the amount of tiny little knives in there. It's fascinating.
What are you eating? I don't know. By the way, for any viewers who are interested, if you want a really weird but it kind of works combination of food, get some really spicy nacho cheese and then eat it with a Hershey bar. Believe it or not, it kind of works.
Maybe one of these days I'll try. Well, no, I mean I've done chocolate and like American cheese, so yeah, it makes sense.
It's just the spicy nacho of it. It just, I don't know, kind of works. I've had chocolate before that was supposed to be a little bit spicy. It's kind of weird. Gives a whole new meaning to whining and dining. I think everyone can probably learn to appreciate food, but to really like have a taste for it, I think that's. I don't know if that can be learned.
Oh, I don't know. They have tasters.
Everyone can taste, but is it gonna mean as much to different people? Because like you have a meal here, and you had Remy experiencing, like the cheese and the fruit earlier on, and now you have Emil doing it, and it's much more muted. And granted, he's kind of untrained. He gets the idea of it, but it's not as in depth as what Remy has.
Oh, I mean, no. What I'm saying is, there's tasters. Actually, at these people who manufacture foods, they actually have tasters on there.
But not everybody tasted it the same, so it's.
No, but they have to hire somebody new every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I mean. I don't know. It's just one of those things, like, I kind of struggle with this in different areas as far as if you take someone who learns to play, let's say, basketball or something, and, like, he tries his hardest, maybe he doesn't have a natural talent for it, but he tries his hardest, really works hard, I believe he could get really good at playing basketball, but if you take someone with just the natural talent, born with talent, and then they work on it and make their skills, they're always going to be better than the person who just, like, forges ahead and tries to learn it.
I mean, I believe you can learn anything, so.
I believe you can learn anything. It's just, are you going to be as good as someone with a natural affinity for it? Because everybody has different talents. That's the thing. I believe you can do anything you want to do, but everyone's born with at least something they have a natural affinity for and are good at.
I don't know. I think you can be good at anything.
Oh,
you wanted to.
Like I said, be good, yes, but as good as someone who has natural talent to do so.
In my opinion, yes, but that's just me.
I don't know, it's just a thought. Feels like we just cut in on a scene there. Like there's probably more to that, and they cut it.
Which is fine with me. There's nothing, I mean, I don't know what you could have added before that.
Love the rat dance right there.
I think the dude who voices the dad, I don't know his name, but is the police officer from First Blood.
Is it?
Pretty sure. Don't know his name.
Which police officer? There was a lot. Was he the sheriff?
Yeah, the sheriff. I don't know his name.
Maybe.
Just knows Rambo.
Love how, like, his cup, I believe, is the top of a toothpaste
Looks like
cap.
What is that, acorn?
I think so. I think it's a hollowed out acorn.
See, I think that's great logic, actually.
What is?
They're not birds, they're rats.
But aren't birds just rats with wings?
No.
And I understand that as a person who eventually wants to make movies, saying I want to make things, I want to add something to this world. Like, I understand that, and that makes him kind of relatable to me. Even though I'm not in the culinary side of things, like, I understand where he's coming from with that. I don't want to be a cog in the machine. I kind of want to, be spitting out ideas. Yeah, you'd figure they'd have a cleaning guy. Being a 3-star restaurant and all.
I mean, technically it was him to begin with.
Well, he was just the garbage boy. God.
How did they get by with that in their storefront window?
I mean, unless they're stuffed. I once knew someone who had a stuffed wildcat in their house.
Cat.
Yeah,
Well, makes
straight
sense.
up. I'm pretty sure it was like a legit thing too. It was just taxidermied.
Oh, kind of makes sense. As far as like why they had a wildcat.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
For our area. I love the lighting effects, like that light in the background that just gleams off everything. You have a car going by. 2 cars going by.
You're driving on the wrong side of the road. Isn't it backwards in Europe?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think you're right.
Yeah, they were following American traffic laws just then.
I think one thing they got right, though, is I believe in Europe there are a lot of cobblestone roads as opposed to paved roadways. So that part was seemingly correct.
Doesn't matter. The cars were on the wrong side, so it matters.
They're not now.
Floor's still dirty.
Yeah. Linguini's asleep. You can actually see a little bit of him a moment ago.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. He didn't do a good job.
You got all the pots and pans.
Doesn't matter. I want a clean floor.
To be fair, he did kind of work all day, and then his boss got him drunk and left him to clean the place. We're coming up, like I said, I have a lot of parts in this movie I really love, and I've talked about some of my favorites, but we are coming up on my favorite part of the movie. Colette. Time cards. You can tell she's trying really hard not to be jealous or angry, and that kind of contrasts with Skinner, you know. It kind of shows that she is a better person. He's doing the best he can. Also, it was a good decision to make her hair purple. Just kind of adds a little bit of flavor to that character.
So that she carried her knives home with her.
Well, yeah, she's a chef. She probably bought those knives.
I mean, I don't know. Once again, do you just drive down the road in Paris with your knives on the back of your scooter?
Sure. That'd be a rude awakening right there. Right here is my favorite part of the movie. Just because the way this explains makes him sound like he's a psychopath, and it's fantastic. Oh man, I just love this scene. And right here, grabs the mace. Just the utter confusion on her face. And right here, when she's just deciding whether to spray him or not, and then just lets it be. That was a perfect scene in my opinion. And then we got to Ego. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the designers made his office look like a coffin.
Yeah, when you see the wide shot.
And, like, just the skull right there.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Brewster. I wonder if that's actually what food critics do all day.
Oh. I don't know what to do.
I'd say most food critics are, like, paid by a newspaper or television source or something.
Monsieur Boyardee, there it was. I was waiting the whole movie for Chef Boyardee reference.
Well, about the only food show I've ever really liked, though, was Man vs. Food. That had a very short run.
Because wasn't he, like, killing them or something?
It only ran 3 seasons. I would say that was probably part of it, but I'd say the other part was they just kind of ran out of places.
That's what I always heard. I always heard that he was, like, killing him. That it was, like, extremely bad for him what he was doing.
Well, yeah, because you would literally, because, like, each meal, you'd probably take in, 5,000 calories. And then he'd have to exercise all that off in between.
Oh, 5,000, that's low, man.
Yeah. Because, like, if you watch, and no offense to that guy, I can't remember his name, but if you watch him at the beginning when that show starts, he's, normal looking guy. Towards the end of that show, he was getting pretty heavy. That'd be a weird sci-fi comic book. The Phantom Rat.
I'd read it. I don't even like reading.
Should I be concerned about this? Sup? See? Voice of reason. See, he wants all the glory. Burritos are good, man, but, burritos aren't everything. Gotta have a few tacos now and then.
See, he's been talking about him about a rat the whole time. It's just convenient that it was a rat hair this whole time.
Yeah, that was a little oversight.
It's not even a scooter. That's like a...
And neither wearing helmets in a kid's movie.
This was 2007.
I know.
Before they all became crazy.
Like, I understand Remy's concern, but, like, you think he would think about Linguini in the sense that, like, you know, he deserves some happiness, too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, but without him, you know, he's a rat again.
Look how that one's just huge. That's like a tag in his ear.
He's like a lab rat. He's been pumping him with steroids or something. So it's his conscience, really.
Yeah. It's kind of the fight between his conscience and, yeah.
Haggish bites.
It was Mike Myers who once said all Scottish food was based on a dare.
Well, I mean, I've heard about some food they eat over there, and probably not entirely wrong.
I don't know. There's probably about 10 to 15 types of food I could live off of. Just like only eating those 10 or 15 items.
Oh, never mind. Wait, didn't it just say right there, don't tell him?
Yeah.
So he never had to say anything. I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know how that works out legally.
He's just a very jealous man.
I don't know how that works out legally.
Well,
because in the last one testament,
it is possible. I don't know how French law works, but it's probably possible that if he hadn't have told him that should Linguini ever figure it out in the future, he could have possibly sued him and said that man had knowledge that was withheld. And while he may not have got the restaurant, he probably could have got some sort of settlement out of him.
No, yeah, I'm just saying. In the will, it says if no heir shows up.
Yeah.
But then, technically...
An heir did show up.
But technically, that's kind of... Once again, it's into the will thing, you know, because technically her letter is kind of a will, too.
Yeah.
Not official, but... But anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And
I believe there was a Ratatouille video game that came out once, and I played it.
I know there's a game. I never played it.
I think I did one time, back when it was like on PlayStation 2 or something. Maybe it was on the Wii. I don't know. It was a long time ago. About 10 years ago. That's true. This movie is 10 years old.
Yep.
I love this. Just miss.
This looks like the same guy from the restaurant the night before.
It may have been.
With a different woman.
Dude, character models are expensive.
Nah, I know. Yeah,
That's why Andy didn't have a dad in Toy Story, I believe, because they didn't have enough money to make another character model. Ousted. I like this little montage.
I mean, whatever.
No, that's an apartment. But man, that's a small staircase. If it wasn't for Remy's family issues, you could almost end the movie right here.
I agree. I don't know. This movie's like 150, I think. To me, it's just a hair too long.
I won't disagree with that, but
I will say that whole thumb joke, back when I first watched this movie in 2007, so
10 years.
how old was I then? Anyway, but that was like the one joke everyone took out of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was a joke that everyone did for like ever. It's like, killed a man with his thumb. I remember that, like, everyone was walking around saying that line. But anyways,
I wonder if that's actually possible.
I think so.
But, like, would you have to use anything else other than your thumb? Like, maybe if you used it to... I don't know. I'm not an expert in the art of murdering people, so I can't say for certain. Well, like, understand Remy's feeling a bit envious because he's the one behind it all. But
yeah, I mean,
what's he gonna do? Say, here, I have a rat that helps me in the kitchen.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love this health inspector. First things in 3 months.
I mean, but don't blame him. I mean,
that's a government worker right there. Exactly. I'm joking. Well, if you work in the government, you're awesome, but still.
Well, it's not the people; it's the
bureaucracy.
All the paperwork.
Yeah. Go.
Proper skinny there.
Oh, yeah. Peter O'Toole was a very tall and skinny person.
That's true.
It's in Lawrence of Arabia, The Man from La Mancha, a few other things too. It's a good line. And that's a better one.
It's not that really great of a comeback.
He must have a very small amount of food he loves if he's that thin. Because, like, man, good food's good food, yeah. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he said, like, he doesn't like anything chain restaurants. Like, if he's going to get food, he likes to go to local places and get food. That's just where he eats.
Okay. Well, I mean, I haven't had fast food in a long time, so I don't know. But I mean, but we're also kind of limited with that.
Yeah,
we only got a handful of places we can eat, so.
Yeah. We've only got, like, maybe 3 restaurants that are actually local and all that. If you can't tell, we live in a very small town. Town that everyone claims to hate, but no one ever leaves.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I heard someone say that, and I'm like, that perfectly describes our town.
It's true.
We have a movie theater and a Walmart. That's it's about the brunt of it. If it wasn't for the hospital and university, no one would be here.
Just realized all their light switches are just buttons.
Yeah. Maybe it's a European thing.
I mean, I know they have different outlets, wall outlets.
Love how some of them hide on the black spots on the tile.
Love that one who's hiding in the hot dog stream. First.
That would be horrifying in real life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, Ego's coming tomorrow, but you have, I don't know. Some of its logic starting to fall apart for me.
Such as?
I don't know, Ego's coming tomorrow. Even if he's not there, you still have Colette, who's basically just as good as Cook.
Yeah.
Basically, so,
Well, to be fair, like, Remy is a little bit better cook, because she offered that thing, it's like, here, it's better, and Remy's like, no. And it's Remy's idea to serve Ego Ratatouille.
Is that terroristic threatening?
I don't know. It was a dream, so it doesn't matter.
Sorry, they faked me out. I was totally faked out. So never.
Attention all personnel.
No, it makes sense.
You don't say.
So you order something cold.
And you know what's really sad here? Like, the rats have to help him out at the end, but you've got, like, the chefs in there. They just plain straight up leave, and that's like the last you see of them.
That is true.
They're just gone. So, like, any connection to them, just like, nope.
That's true. That's never resolved, actually. Hey, there's one. There's two. Hey, there's the dishwasher. Did you see the dude in the back right corner? The dude in the blue shirt. He's the dishwasher.
They probably hired some help since Skinner left. tan overcoat, beret, sunglasses, pencil mustache. Yep. He must be French.
No, he makes Ratatouille. You know.
Yeah. I've never had Ratatouille.
Well,
I actually kind of want to try it.
The only thing is there any reason why he chooses that dish? Like, is there anything that's mentioned in this movie that would ever lead to that? I don't think there is, you know.
I don't, but
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know.
I think it's probably, and this is just my opinion, it's probably Remy's assertion that, you know, something that relates to everybody is their family, and whatever, like, how do I put this, like, there's, for example, when I was young, my grandma used to make me macaroni and cheese, and, like, it was just Kraft macaroni and cheese, that's all it was, but when she made it, it was delicious, and I loved it. If someone gave me that, and I ate Kraft macaroni and cheese, I would associate that with, you know, time with my Grammy, with my cousins, stuff like that, and I would automatically have a stronger feeling towards that. So it was probably just him assuming that Antonigo's obviously French, and I don't, like I said, I don't know much about France, but it's possible Ratatouille, I think it's like a peasant dish, they say this in there, so it's very possible that Anton had that as a kid, so.
I'm trying to think.
The strongest part of food is how it relates, how it makes you feel.
I'm trying to make sense of it. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said, so I'm trying to remember how the rest of the movie plays out. I haven't watched this movie in a long time. So they rescue him from the trunk, and he needs their help.
Because the chefs walk out.
Yeah.
After Linguini shows them Remy.
I mean, yeah, I could justify it. I was just wondering if there was something that was teased early on.
I don't so.
I haven't really noticed anything.
That'd be a bad day. Have a gargoyle hit your car.
Yeah. Apparently they're just sitting on top of the buildings.
Didn't it happen once in New York where an asteroid actually hit a car? Or a meteor? Like, it actually, like, I mean, it wasn't huge. It was, like, probably the size of, like, a kickball or something. But it just, like, hit the top of it.
Never heard
It wasn't even that big. It was probably fist size.
I'm glad they're gonna kill the rat right in the middle of their kitchen again.
Yeah. Well, they're probably gonna kick him outside and then do it.
They were gonna kill him right there.
You see that picture of that dude who looks just like Linguini? He took a picture with, like, the cover of Ratatouille, and, like, he looked just like him. It's hilarious.
Oh, no offense though. Yeah, half of them were gonna leave, but
Yeah.
a couple of them would have stayed.
Like, obviously Colette comes back, but I'm feeling that waiter guy, and then, I forgot his name, but the dude with the thumb. Like, I feel like they would have stayed.
Trying to see, we have a resistance, we have a gambler, we have a
Former circus man.
and some other fourth one. Was there a fourth one? No, there wasn't a fourth one. I don't know.
See, like, the look in his eyes, you can tell he kind of wants to stay, maybe, but he's done.
think the circus guy would stay.
You know
Or
what?
would it
You're
come
probably
back?
not wrong. By the way, if it shows it again, beside Linguini, posted on the wall, there's a picture of the health inspector. Yeah, right there.
Huh.
Just a fun little nod.
See, I mean, she leaves too. I
mean, I can understand the idea of being deceived and he's not who you thought he was. I can understand being angry at that, but to kind of leave in that event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it because it's kind of cool when you think about it. It's got a rat that controls him. Well,
it's kind of creepy when you think about it.
Creepy, but oh well, never mind. Maybe I just threw my own argument out the window. When you say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous and creepy.
And her change of heart. That leather jacket does not go with those pants.
Oh,
I think her socks are purple too. Trying to see what other books are there, because usually they throw in a pretty good one.
Callahan.
Make a note. And I love that shot right there. Just that pan down and the rack focus. That was great. I love how much bigger his dad is than him. Makes you wonder, like, obviously rats age differently than humans, but like how old, quote unquote, would Remy be? I want to say probably mid-20s, mid to late 20s, if he were like a human.
Probably.
Probably about the same as Linguini.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's probably.
I actually see Colette as being a little bit older, maybe like in her early 30s.
I guess maybe that's where they get the idea of Ratatouille. Oh no, I'm gonna have to look that up.
I love this. I thought his first opening was in 3 months.
Plot, man.
I'm out, man.
You need plot.
It's true. Love how they have a Delta team. Apparently they have an Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie.
I'm gonna have to look up Ratatouille after this.
Yeah.
See the history.
How to make it.
Well, also the history. Does it have anything to do with family? Is this the Fast and Furious?
Why would you not send that giant rat after him?
Well,
Guy could probably do it by himself. You can't do that. You can't refer to a team as Team Delta and then by numbers. You have to keep it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and then Epsilon if you have it.
That was the dad.
I know.
He's just making it up as it goes.
Love how he just knows how to roller skate. It's perfect.
He just has roller skates in his office. It's the same guy again.
Told you, man, character models are expensive.
Can he pour his own drink? I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's rather. Well, it's a.
That's too
I mean,
fancy
once
for me.
again, if I'm paying $50 a plate, they better pour my drink.
It's too fancy for me.
Yeah, me too. But actually, the best places to eat are like you said, like we were talking about earlier, the little mom and pop shops. Like some of those are it's just the best because it's all they might use like store bought ingredients, but it's homemade food. It's not just assembly line produced. Yeah. Peasant dish. It makes sense though when you think about ego, because someone with that big an ego, or someone with that kind of personality, only one of two options are available. Either A, he was raised very rich and snotty, or B, he feels like he needs to act that way because he has something to prove.
And Remy, in his mind, has something to prove.
Exactly.
So it kind of makes sense.
It looks like that would be really good.
It's like squash, tomatoes, and I think maybe zucchini or something.
Cucumbers,
zucchini, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it looks good. Man, that's like 3 bites though.
Yeah.
That'll be $74, please. Ratatouille. Just kind of hoping a fork would come out of that pen.
Yeah.
Just right here. Boom. Yeah. Because certain smells and certain tastes, they can just take you back. Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. It's a little, I don't know.
Little ego.
Oh yeah, but it's a little too convenient for me.
It is. I don't quite get that in its totality.
But, it's easy to justify. So
yeah.
It's not like I have to make a stretch to make sense of it.
And I think maybe his ending monologue will. He lets himself enjoy it for like half a second. This is a great kind of thing here, waiting for everyone to leave before he can meet the chef.
Yeah.
So be it. Probably went through that entire bottle, so he's. Just this part is just so interesting, in my opinion. Here's his monologue.
Now, where are you going to go now, son?
It's him forging his own path. That's a great poster right there by itself. And that was a great monologue.
True, but where it started and where it ended, I don't think it correlates entirely, but whatever.
I mean, they could have kept them back there and fed them, and, you know, they would have been prisoners for the rest of their lives, but still, it's possible.
Couldn't you just go on national television and solve everything?
But now he's getting dividends off this restaurant. You realize Linguini never knows Remy's name?
That's true. I mean, does he ever call him Linguini?
Yeah. Does
know.
Anton look a little bit less thin?
No, just a hair, maybe. Yeah, like especially like in the stomach region.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I love this ending. Just the French music, the
Bistro.
showing the line out the door, and then the sign is perfect. And just fade out. Yeah, I think it is one of my favorite movies. And you gotta add the fin in there at the end. Any kind of closing thoughts?
I like it. It's
I like it because it's unique. That's why I like it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Once again, I don't know.
Hard to put in words.
Maybe just a hair too long. Shave 10 minutes off somewhere.
I don't disagree.
And yeah. Anyway, we did it again.
Hey, Michael Giacchino, music.
Well, of course, he does everything Disney now.
Well, this is back in 07, man.
Well, they've been breeding him for a while.
That's possible.
I mean, I don't know.
That seems to be how it works, though. You work behind the scenes for a while, and then eventually you kind of get your shot. Michael Fong.
Yeah, we did it again.
Well, I guess that was our commentary for Ratatouille. Yeah, like I said, it's in my top 3 Pixar movies. It's right around there, so that's just how it is for me. Where would you see it on your list?
I mean, I'm gonna have to put it after all the Toy Story films. Gonna have to probably put it behind Monsters Incorporated. I'm trying to think what else. I mean,
The only trouble with Pixar is they have so many good films that like you can rank something in the middle of your list and it's still a really good film. It just
so let me see. 3 Toy Stories, Monsters Inc.
Finding
Nemo, and one that's never mentioned or brought up ever again is A Bug's Life.
Yeah,
I really like Bug's Life. So maybe number 7 on my list.
And that's not bad. Pixar, I think, has like, 15 movies or so?
14, 15.
So, right in the middle.
Yeah, so, yes, like I said, it was, I just liked it because, it was cooking, and I liked cooking at the time, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so let's say number 7 at the time. That's where I'll put it for right now.
And right now, I'll keep it in my top 3. Where that's at in my top 3, not sure. But, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Any last thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Alright, thank you guys. Tune in next time for our next commentary. God bless, and have a great night, day, week, or whatever. Thanks.